Am I here yet? One waiting. Hello? Am I here yet? Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Run Junkies. How's it going today? It is Sunday, and it's a holiday weekend, which is really exciting. Hey, Run Junkies. How's it going today? I need to turn myself off here. Shush. There we go. Now, that's better. You know, I'll bet you there are a lot of people out there. Hi, Katie. How are you? I wonder how many people are out there that are like, wow, yeah, I need to kind of put her on mute, don't I? Yeah. It's Katie. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with the what am I thinking of? The virtual 5K medal. Hi, Claire. How are you? It's good to see you guys here. Thank you guys for being here. So I just want to chat a little bit about what's going on with you guys, what's going on here. Oh no, I've got people who are trying to get in. I'm actually over on Facebook and I'm on YouTube, so I'm confused. Both of them are on 3 different bandwidths. So you see me, and then I see this me 5 seconds ago, and then this me like 3 seconds ago. It's very confusing. So, and for someone who's a little ADD, it's just kind of crazy. So, no, things are great this weekend. Holiday weekend coming up for 4th of July, Independence Day. So I want to hear from you guys. So thank you guys for joining me. Claire, Katie, what are you guys training for? I know, Katie, you just did, hi. Happy Sunday to you as well. I want to find out from you guys, what are you training for? What questions do you have for me? What is the biggest thing that's kind of on your plate right now, training wise? Where are you chatting from? I'd like to know where you guys are from. So I'm here in Denver, and it's actually a little overcast today. We might be having a little bit of some weather here, which is good because it's been hot, very hot. What we have, let's see. So where should I start? Oh my gosh. So I'll let you know a little bit about what's happening on the training front for me. Yesterday, I just did a, 14-mile run. If you head over to my Facebook page, hi, that's our 3-legged dog, Indy, and she just decided that she wasn't gonna be in the room anymore. I think there are a lot of people that wanna just leave the room. So I'm training right now for a half marathon that's in Castle Rock. It's about an hour south here. It's about 1,000 feet higher in elevation, which isn't that big of a deal. However, there's a significant uphill for this particular race that if there's something that even as a veteran runner, I forget to do this. You always want to look at the course map. It's just something really good to do. Look at the course map before you sign up online. Usually races like this, most races have some kind of elevation profile, which will show you the ups and downs and all of the hills and things like that. I didn't do that last time. I should have. So I signed up for this Prairie Dog half marathon, and I ended up looking at the course map after, which was also a mistake. So now I've got myself psyched out about this one big hill. And I say big, but it's actually a pretty tame hill. It's just a steady uphill out of this creek basin for about, I want to say it's 1.5 miles. I haven't looked at it lately, but it looks pretty significant, at least to me. And then you turn around and then you go back downhill because it's an out and back course. That's good. But I'm still looking at a half marathon with, 2 or 3 miles about halfway in that's straight uphill, which is, you know, I'll get over it. So I've been doing a lot of hills, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit, but where's everybody coming from? So, okay, Keely Lime, I hope I have that right. Nashville, doing the Couch to 5K prep for Disney races. Nice. I am very excited for you. Hey, Laura, yay. I'm so glad that you're here. So Keely, it looks like you've got a huge goal in mind. So which Disney races, Keely, are you going to be doing? Because we have a little bit of experience here with that. I have done a couple of races over in Disneyland and a couple of races. I did the Dopey Challenge this past year. But I want to hear what you're going to be training for specifically for Disney. And how is that Couch to 5K prep going? The 5K and the 10K, cool. So you're going to be doing, those are fun races. They're just, oh my gosh. So you're going to be running a lot through, Epcot. So if you're doing, are you doing the January races? Are you doing Princess? I know Princess is sold out, and most of the Dopey Challenge races are sold out now. What else? Claire, hey, you know what, Claire? I've got something for you. I think you requested, not just from Res Runs, who's about Star Wars, Keely. Oh my gosh, I still have to go back to Keely. Okay, sorry, Claire, I'm gonna get to you in a second. Here's the thing, oh my gosh, I really wanna do Star Wars. I really felt like I missed out on Star Wars this year. So you are gonna have so much fun at Star Wars. Okay, moving on, okay. Keely, I'm so jealous right now. All right, Claire, yeah, hi from Chico. Okay, so you're training for your third 5K in August, April, and June, and you're brand new to this. I know a couple of people asked me for a new runner's guide, a video about, you know, what you need as a new runner. That is coming up on Tuesday. I just finished that off, and I want to let you know that that's coming. So I hope you tune in on Tuesday. And I know it's a holiday, so but you'll always have access to it. So I was really thinking about you, and there were a couple of other people that have kind of chimed in and said this about having, you know, what does a new runner need? What is you know, what are the crucial elements, and what are the things to really think about when you're looking at the virtual, or excuse me, not the virtual, when you're starting this running journey. There's so much information out there, and it can be so, Katie, I know I think you were one of the ones that that was excited about that too. So yes, I absolutely think that it's important to kind of focus on just a few things when you're just starting out. And it's hard to do that when there's so much information out there. I mean, you do a Google search just for, you know, like Keely was saying, the Couch to 5K, and you just get so many of these training plans, and you don't even know where to start. So it's all going to be in there. And I hope that if you guys have any further questions based on that video, chime back in. I really do want to make sure that I want to help you guys out through this first part of your running journey. It's so exciting. I mean, it's exciting and it's overwhelming at the same time. So I'm very excited for you guys. Just you're looking at this running journey from a very different perspective now than I am. And you know, my running journey now is 10 years old. So kind of crazy when I think about it. And I can't really call myself a novice runner anymore. But I hope that you guys get some good information out of that. I want to move on. Let's see, Katie, you are from Virginia, training for a 4-mile run in September. Walked it last year, run the full thing this year. That's huge. That is huge. And it's so funny because we think, gosh, you know, I have to stop and or slow down to walk or whatever. That's all part of the journey. And I think we kind of shortchange ourselves a little bit when we say, I'm a runner, but we aren't running all the time. And that's what I love about the Galloway plans. And I don't follow the Galloway plans, but I really do think he makes it accessible to brand new runners. You know, just that whole run walk method. It's like, you know what, you get to slow down. You are giving yourself permission to slow down to walk. And I think that's important, especially as you're starting out. So yeah, so Katie, good luck with that. I've got some phenomenal, I'm so glad you guys are here. And then I've got Joyful Miles. So hi, Laura, I hope you're still here. Laura and I have been chatting quite a bit over the last couple of days. Yeah, just having a little bit of fun planning things for you guys. I'm so excited. Hey, you know what? You guys are just amazing. So Claire asks, and she's following the Galloway plans right now. So where to start wasn't the issue, but what's more realistic? It's an excellent question. It is very personal. It's a very personal question. And I don't have one single good answer, as you can probably imagine. It's hard to tell what is realistic for you. Yeah, tough to find that balance between pushing and pushing too far. Without encouraging you to overtrain, it's almost like you have to know what your limits are before you really decide, like, okay, I can't do all of this all at once. So I had to overtrain multiple times before I really learned the lesson of how much is too much. When I could tell those warning signs faster. If you guys, I don't know if you guys saw my overtraining video and the recovery videos. In this video on Tuesday, I will tell you a little bit about what I talked about. It's a good place to start as a new runner is 3 to 4 days of running per week. And what did I say? Yeah, 3 to 4 days of running per week, 2 to 3 miles at a time. Couch to 5K is a really great place to start. I would also encourage you as a part of that, and not necessarily, it's almost like you could even run 3 days a week, walk 3 days a week, or walk 3 days a week. Any one of those is realistic. You will find, can I go harder? Can I go longer? Can I go faster? As you start to gain a little bit of experience. It's that couch to 5K that I love the idea of that program, because it's such a great introduction to running. It introduces you to the sport. It shows you what you can do without overdoing it distance-wise. You know, 3.1 miles, you know, in my neighborhood, it's down to my son's school and back. It's small. It's bite-sized chunks. And I think to start off with, what's realistic is you don't want to be overwhelmed. And if you are overwhelmed, then it's like you've taken on too much too soon. But again, it's like, where is that overtraining line? I hate to say it, but I really do think like you have to just overtrain at some point. And I'm certainly not encouraging you to do that and just go out and run 5 days in a row as hard as you possibly can. That is not what I'm encouraging you to do. I would say that if you're going to kind of figure out what that limit is, keep a journal. And I say this in Tuesday's video too, keep a journal. Write down what felt right, how you feel the next day. When you go out for your next run, how does that feel? It's all going to kind of congeal and gel once you start keeping track of what you're doing. So if you keep that journal, it will help you determine what works and what doesn't. Look at, take into consideration the weather. When I have to take into consideration. And I know if you guys are parents, you get this too. Well, my kid's sick, so maybe I'm fighting something. You know, there's so much to consider. Our running and our training just does not exist in a vacuum. And so when you're looking at all of, you know, this is how running is going to fit into my life, you have to look at the rest of your life, right? I'm not sure, Claire, if I'm actually answering your question. I'm trying to. It is hard to find a balance. And I will tell you, 10 years into this journey, I'm still trying to figure out where that balance is. My struggle lately is how, like I have distance. I have a lot of big distances coming up. I have this half marathon I'm training for, but I'm also looking at, you know, I feel a little flabby, I guess. And I feel like I need to do more strength training and more core work and more hip strengthening. But by the time my runs are over, I either run out of time or I just don't have the energy after my runs. And I'm keeping my runs super easy too. Claire, I'm glad that helped. One of the things too to consider is that running, you don't have to do top speed all the time, every time you run. And it took me 9 or 10 years to figure out what an easy run really is. If you're looking at things, you know, if you're looking at metrics, and that can be overwhelming. If you're going to look at one metric first, I would say look at your heart rate, because that's going to be the measurable that you'll see kind of drop. As you get faster, your heart rate will stay the same. Okay. So that's kind of how you see the measurement of progress. Heart rate monitors are tough though, because, you know, and training by heart rate is also a challenge. What's in my swim bag video? Okay. Training by heart rate is also a challenge because everybody's physiology is so different. And what you know, that 220 minus your age thing, yeah, that's a good place to start, but I wouldn't live by that rule. I would encourage you to find it, and I might do a video on this too, just like how does training by heart rate work? If you can look at those zones, you know, your aerobic zone, your fat burning zone, and then aerobic zone, stay within those lower heart rates, I guess. That is going to keep you slow. And I say that because I run slowly for all of my easy runs. Those easy runs are designed to just get the mileage in. It's not about the speed. When we're talking about speed and going faster, then we are elevating that heart rate, which requires us to take more time off. So that kind of elaborates on that point a little bit, Claire. I hope that helped a little bit more. So travel journal, I'm from Florida and training for a 10-miler in September and the Walt Disney World Marathon, your first marathon in Walt Disney World in January. Oh my gosh. You know who, my fiance is doing exactly the same thing. He has only done a couple of 5Ks. Well, I shouldn't say only done. I should never, that was a total faux pas, guys. I don't like saying only a 5K. That's just no, because 5Ks are huge. He is doing his first, he just went right from 5K to marathon. And I'm like, dude, why stop there? Just sign up for the Dopey Challenge. He didn't want to go that crazy. So congratulations, Monica. That's going, or no, Travel Journal. That's going to be very, very cool. I'm used to racing in the winter, but that September one will be hot down here because you're in Florida. Bless you people living in the Southeast that run this time of year. I mean, I can't imagine that. We're here in Denver, and, you know, believe it or not, Denver, you know, a lot of people think that Denver's always cold. It's not. We are on the high plains and we get some really hot, dry weather and a lot of wind. But this is, I can't complain about the hot, you know, when I'm watching videos from like Gerald Resnick at Res Runs. If you saw his dopey training update video, he's, you know, dripping, and I can't even imagine. It's one of the nice things about living in Denver. It is very dry, and we don't have a lot of humidity. So early morning training with 98% humidity. Oh, honey, bless your heart. I mean, really, I have gone running. It's like running in a cloud. I was thinking it could be like running in a sauna, you know, a wet sauna or a steam room. That's kind of how I feel about it. I have done some running when I visit my family in Florida. When I go down to visit my parents, I've been out running, and it's flat, and it's great for this girl who lives at a mile high, and then she ends up and she's just like trucking right along. This is great. When I go down to basically a sauna, yeah. When I go down to the Florida for the races, or, you know, visit my family or whatever, I mean, it really is. I walk off the plane and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's all this oxygen. It's just fantastic. So, but then the drawback is the humidity and, yeah, the heat. However, you guys in January have kind of like our spring. Your January in Florida is kind of like our spring here. A little schizophrenic. We don't really know what we're gonna get, right? Monica, I want to say hi to you. I literally just found you today through what's in my swim bag video. That one was fun to do. Just starting out as a runner, wondering what your swim workouts were and how they help you. That's an excellent question, Monica. And I'll tell you, I started out as a triathlete. I really did. Like, I was not a runner first. And it was kind of funny because I look back on this now and I spend so much time talking about running. And when I first started this channel, I thought, you know, I should talk a lot about triathlon. But I switched over really from triathlon to running just for fun. And I've got a story to tell you about that in a future video. I mean, really, I have a lot of great videos coming up. But to answer your question, what do my swim workouts look like? I had a book, I think I featured, I think I showed you on that video. It's called Swim Workouts for Triathletes. So it's a lot of freestyle. What do I do? I will start off, if I haven't been swimming in a while, I'll start out with a 500. I don't know. Monica, are you a swimmer by nature? Is that something that you've done your whole life, or were you just, are you more of a, I don't know, what does swimming involve for you? Because for me, I was practically born swimming. It was one of those things that I have always done. Never knew what it was like to not know how to swim. So swimming for me has always been just, you know, I'd start out my workouts, I'm trying to think about how I used to do that. I start out my workouts, now granted, this was when I was training for a major triathlon. So take this with a grain of salt and pare it down by about half or more. I would start out, my warm-up would be a 300 swim, just easy swim. No, it's very new to me. I'm looking forward to change up my workouts. Okay, so it's easy swim for me. I would start out with 300, which is 12 lengths of the pool. So it's down and back 6 times. That's a lot. It's a lot for a new runner or a new swimmer. So, you know, take that and make it 100, you know, down and back twice. Then I would do a kick. I would do the same in a kick. I would do whatever I did on the swim. I would do the same distance, just kicking. So with a kickboard, and I might even use some swim fins. The swim fins you guys saw in that video are the ones I use. Then I would do a pull. I would do the same distance and pull. So for me, it was 300 kick, 300 swim, 300 kick, 300 pull. And that right there that was my warm up. Okay. Again, this was when I was training for that thing. Okay. So that's 2.5 miles of swimming. Okay. Again, I grew up swimming. So that's not something that I ever sneeze at. So with a beginning swimmer, I think what I would do, not being a coach, not, I would start you off personally with 100 swim, 100 kick, 100 pull. I wouldn't even do the pull. 100 swim, 100 kick, 100 swim, 100 kick, and just do that like 3 or 4 times. Start off small. I think I wouldn't do anything more than 500 meters. So that's 20 lengths of the pool, and nice and easy. And what it does for me is it keeps my upper body toned. Having good shoulder strength is required for a swimmer. If you really want to be strong in the water, you have to have really good range of motion on your shoulders. You have to have upper back strength, and you have to have a solid core. And I think all of those things help with running, because I think there's a balance that I get more of a balance in the pool, like left side versus right side. Then I get better balance in the pool than I do running, because I don't know, running kind of knocks me off balance if I'm not really paying attention to what's happening. So if I'm not foam rolling or something like that, I will favor one side over another. But if your shoulders, both sides, and your chest, your back, and your core are strong, you will have a more efficient arm swing, and your core will keep you upright. If you have a strong core, then you're not kind of huddling over and shrimping, what Sage Roundtree calls, shrimping over. And when you have a solid core and a solid back, and I think we need to remember that core is all the way around, we're going to be more efficient as runners. So using swimming is also a great way to keep from pounding your body into the pavement. Okay, so it is a great way to cross train. It is one of the first things that I do if my legs are tired, I just jump in the pool. If I am feeling a little, fluffy up here, excuse me, I jump in the pool. Unfortunately, I haven't been swimming as much, and I can feel it. I can definitely feel, I definitely feel like I haven't been, I don't know, I guess this is the first time, I think in my life, because I've been a lifelong swimmer, it's been forever since I've been swimming, that I've noticed a difference having not been swimming. Nothing, there's no tone up here, and it's really frustrating to me. Monica, I hope that helped you out. I hope that answer helped you. And let me know if I can elaborate any further. So Katie, is your Garmin accurate enough for you to train by heart rate, or do you still have to wear a chest monitor? I will tell you, actually, for me, this wrist monitor was a godsend. I did use a chest strap for a very long time. And when I was training for some pretty big triathlons, my coach at the time was saying, wear that heart rate strap, wear that heart rate strap. I'm a little bigger up in the ample regions up here, so I have to, wear this really beefy sports bra and somehow get the chest strap to read the heart rate. And I wasn't getting consistent data, and it was so frustrating to me. And I would spend so much time in my workouts that, I took the dang thing off, and I'm done. And I got to a point where I actually said something to my coach. I'm like, this is not working. This is not working. Now, this would have been several years ago, a few years ago now. And I just stopped wearing it. When I discovered that Garmin had a wrist-mounted heart rate strap, I did a lot of research. I asked a bunch of questions about, does it work? How does it work? The first reviews that I saw of it were that it's kind of spotty still. I have not had nearly as many problems with loss of data or inconsistent data like I had with the chest strap. And I was using, at the time, I was using a Garmin 310 XT, which is a multi-sport watch. It's still like, it's a good way to do that. It is a good way for a lot of people to get that heart rate. It might be more accurate to within a few beats, but I'm looking at, you know, big picture data. My coach is looking at big picture data, and she's telling me that, you know, what she sees from this data is interesting. There have been times when this will kind of run out of battery and it will give me really weird data. The other thing I like about this, and this is the Garmin Forerunner 235, the other thing I like about this is that it has a recovery advisor, which, gosh, how do I explain the recovery advisor? It basically tells you, well, this is how hard you worked and this is how long you need to rest. So that's kind of it's a nice feature. The thing about the recovery advisor, though, is when it's telling you, okay, you have to take 15 hours before you can do that particular workout again. So if I just did a 4-mile easy run and it comes back and it looks at that heart rate data and it goes by my cadence and it shows all of this information and it basically crunches all those numbers and it says, okay, you just did this far for this hard. You can't do this again without risking injury until you've taken this much time off. So I might take that next day off, or I might, you know, come back the next day and do a harder run. So for example, I would come back on a Wednesday and say, okay, I've got a tempo run. And again, it would crunch all of those numbers and get all that data and put it together. And at the end of that run, when I'm, you know, after I've done 3 tempo pace miles where my heart rate is pretty high, it'll come back and say, okay, now wait. You can't do this particular run, that what you just did, you can't repeat that without risking injury until after, you know, arbitrary number here, 36 hours. So I'm not going to go back and do another tempo run. So I hope that helped a little bit, Katie. Sorry. Yeah, so I don't wear a chest monitor. I will wear a chest monitor, excuse me. I will wear a chest monitor when I'm on the bike, but that's because my bike doesn't have this capability. And actually, I can switch this to bike, but I have a bike computer that I use that also reads just a bunch of other information. But that's just when I'm mixing it up a little bit for cross training. I hope that helped. What else? Hang on, I'm losing, where am I? Really important question here from Laura. Any costumes planned for Dopey? Okay, folks, for those of you who are doing Run Disney races, I want you guys to chime in. If you have any fun costumes that you're thinking about wearing, if you have questions about how to get those costumes, Laura and I have been plotting and scheming again. Let's see, costumes planned for Dopey. What do I have right now? I know I'm gonna do, what's his name? Perry the Platypus from, Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, Phineas and Ferb. We haven't been watching that in a while. We used to watch it all day, every day, Phineas and Ferb. So Perry the Platypus, I was Perry last year, I think for the 5K, and my son was Phineas, and my fiance was Dr. Doofenshmirtz. So that was pretty fun. Otherwise, I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, I haven't really been doing a lot. I don't have anything else planned for Dopey. So Laura, yeah, I'll take suggestions. I don't do princesses. I'm so not the type for princesses. I think as close to a princess as I'd get would be Merida, or you know, the snubbed Disney princesses, if you know who those guys are, that would be Megara from Hercules or Kida from Atlantis. Who's another one? I might be, here's a good one. Giselle from, what's it called? What is it? Help me out. Is it Enchanted? Enchanted with Amy Adams? Oh my gosh. How does she know that you love her? That one. Okay, that's a good idea. I might actually do that. Otherwise, I don't have anything else planned. I do have my costumes planned for, help me out, superheroes. I do have my costumes planned for superheroes. So for one of those races, I'm going to be Captain America. And I think that's going to be the 5K. The 10K, I'm going to be Hawkeye. And the third, actually going to do a little bit of crafting. I like to not do a lot of alterations and like build something myself. But I am going to create the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm going to be the Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, so if you know what that is, it's from the Avengers, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's the gold glove that has all of the jewels on it. So I'm going to do that probably for the half marathon. So Katie, I'm planning my Disney costumes and don't even have a Disney run in mind yet. Honey, you're not alone. I will promise you that. I have all of my Star Wars. Someday I'm going to do the Kessel Run, and I think that's going to happen in 2019. I'm not sure yet. I already have a really good idea of what I'm going to do for light side and what I'm going to do for dark side. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm not even registered for the race, and light side isn't even open yet for Disneyland. So that's, Katie, you're not alone. No, really. Keep those lists though. Like if you have great costume ideas, they're really fun. They're really fun to kind of to plan. Like I said, I don't do a lot of crafting when it comes to my costumes. I really try to just buy off the rack running equipment that looks, you know, that has the same colors, the Disney bounds. Monica, I'm glad that helped. Angie, I'm training for a balloon festival, 5K, 10K, and half, as well as Wine and Dine and Disneyland Superheroes. Yay, you're doing Disneyland Superheroes and Dopies. So we will see you at both. That's exciting. As well as several virtual races and possibly locals for proof of time. Angie, nice, very cool. You've got a lot coming up. So the balloon festival, so I'm thinking like hot air balloons. That sounds like that might be hot air balloons, and that sounds phenomenal. I love watching hot air balloons on race day up at Boulder Reservoir, where they do a lot of their triathlons. I see they have the balloons out. The balloons, it's kind of like it's not a race until the hot air balloons have lifted off. And so when we're jumping in the water and the hot air balloons are coming out. So great. Do you think character makeup would be a good idea for dark side, or is it too humid? I personally would steer clear of it, but Keely, I think I've seen people do this. I actually saw somebody at my first superheroes race dressed not only as Gamora. I mean, she wasn't even just Disney bound, she was wearing the full-blown costume. So the leathers, and she painted her arms green. She had green face paint, and she had the long black and purple wig. That's dedication. That is not for me. I actually, Laura over at Joyful Miles will give you a cautionary tale about wigs. Just go look that up if you head over to Joyful Miles when we're done here, and just look that up. Yeah, Laura, I'm calling you out, honey. I think character makeup, depending on what it is. I think if you're doing something like Darth Maul, you can make that work. If it's humid or raining, that's just gonna be, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I think if it's humid or raining or foggy, I mean, really, I mean, this is Florida, right? So I, I think you can get away with it, but I also think if you had a backup plan, that would be that'd be a good idea. It's just not something that I would do. That's just not my style. Give me, you know, just like I said, regular running clothes. I am so much about comfort. If you're doing, but Keely, you're doing the 5. Remind me. Hold on, I'm gonna look. You're walking 5Ks. So I can't seem to find it. But yeah, I think like Darth Maul. The only thing about you're doing 5K and the 10K. 5K, you know, you can get away with that. It's a shorter race. I think, Keely, you can totally get away with makeup on a shorter race. If it were longer, if it were a half marathon or the full, I mean, by the time you're done, by the time you've had all of your water, I mean, the whole thing would just, and the reason I say this is once that starts running, you're going to have some really killer photography. The race photographers are really good. And once that starts running, you're risking, you know, kind of ruining that shot. But I think the 5K, definitely you could get away with that because you're not out there very long. It's not very hot. And unless it's raining, you know, the sun's not even up by the time the 5K is over. So I think you could probably do that. And I really would love to see that. That's amazing. I think that's dedication right there. Serious question now from Laura. What are your race strategies for superheroes and dopey? Do you stop for characters or go for PRs? I don't go for PRs. I will tell you that. So for superheroes and dopey, these are both fun runs for me. I mean, everything all the way up to the marathon, all the way from the 5K to the marathon, they're just me out having fun, you know, seeing characters and just embracing the Disney experience with those. For superheroes, actually, it's funny because I haven't even started thinking about dopey yet because I'm still working on this. This is my July plan from Christine. You know, my next race is the only thing that's on my radar right now, and that's the Prairie Dog Half, which I'm using as proof of time for dopey. And possibly, depending on how I do, I may switch over that. I may use that for proof of time for superheroes. As far as that's concerned, this is just, you know, these are just for fun. I don't go for PRs on this. I may stop for characters. I have not yet stopped for characters. It would depend on who's there. So looking at like the marathon this past year or in January, who would I have stopped for? Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope. Oh gosh, who else was out there? For superheroes, I will be stopping for Groot. If Groot's out there, because they just introduced these 3 new characters for superheroes. It's a Summer of Heroes now at Disneyland. So if, Star-Lord and Gamora and Groot, if those guys are out there, I am so stopping. And I'm hoping that they're out there for the 5K because all of us, my son and my fiance and I, we're all running the 5K together. So I'm hoping that Groot's going to be there somewhere. I don't know. I might stop for a character if I'm dressed as that character. So I'd stop for Hawkeye and I would stop for Captain America. I don't know. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I haven't yet done, and it's so funny. I'm so different. Katie, great question. And I want to get to that. I don't know. I have such a sense of cruise control. Like I just keep on trucking. If I have to stop, I kind of bust my groove and I don't know. It's like I can't get started again, especially in the longer distances. So the marathon was hard for me this past time because I hadn't trained very fast, and so it just took me forever. And then after a while, I'm like, oh my gosh, here's me just like plugging along. But I was enjoying every minute of it. Like I would see, you know, the bands, and I'd high five the cheerleaders and all of that. And I would get pictures. Another one I might stop for is Joy and Sadness from Inside Out. I'm trying to think, who else would I stop for? I like getting the character photos like before and after the races. So the ones that are sitting there at the start line. And I don't think they have that. If anybody's done a Disneyland race recently, I don't think they have the characters sitting out front or at the race start or at the race finish. When you go to the starting line, I don't think they have that. Gosh, who else would I stop for? It would be one of those things that, you know, I'm not going to sprint from. I know a lot of people do this. I know a lot of people, like, they start and they sprint to the first character stop, and then they get their picture, and then they sprint. And that's one way to do it. And I think that's phenomenal. I would stop for Phineas and Ferb, Katie. You are absolutely right. I would stop for Phineas and Ferb. No characters for Disneyland. Okay, so I don't know. I think, gosh, who else would I stop? Oh, for Star Wars, again, this isn't on, but I've already planned my Star Wars races, but I mean, I have no idea when I'm going to do these. I would stop for kind of the more obscure characters. And I think that's pretty much true for a lot of these races. They'd be more obscure. So Sabine Wren and Ezra Bridger, who, if you don't know who that is, that's from Star Wars Rebels, which is the TV show. I would stop for, I don't know, the Cad Bane, like some of the more obscure characters from the TV show. I would have to stop for Boba Fett, I think. Who else would I stop for? See, obviously, I'm not thinking about princesses. I'm thinking about Star Wars and superheroes. Okay. Let's see. I want to see. There aren't, Katie, this is a question I wanted to address. So thank you for asking this. There aren't a lot of local trainers where I live. Have you ever used a virtual trainer? And at what point do you recommend someone get a trainer? And by trainer, I'm assuming you mean some kind of coach. If that's the jargon I use. As far as a trainer goes, it depends on what your goals are. If you have some really meaty goals, you know, a really big one would be Boston qualifier. I mean, this is not on my radar, really. For me, I have a coach because I have gotten to the point in my journey where I would follow a training plan, do the race, and I wouldn't know how to get from one race to another without starting over completely. So I would recover from the one race or not recover enough, which was more often the case. And then I would get back into it. And that's when I would like gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. And so it was this constant ramp up for a race, and then I drop off, and then constant ramp up for a race, and then drop off. This year, after the Dopey Challenge, and actually it was before I did the Dopey Challenge, I decided I was going to hire a coach, and I've already used this person's, Coach Christine Hinton. Yeah, Katie, I would highly recommend you start, do some of it, like with some of your training plans, decide who, you know, figure out who wrote them. I mean, Jeff Galloway obviously has developed all of these training plans, and they work very, very well. If you like that method, go get his books, you know, buy his books and figure out how that would work. Finding a trainer is complicated. I think your best resource is going to be your local running store. They can start pointing you in the right direction. They can get you kind of driving down that line. Virtual trainers, I don't know anything about. So, oh, I lost it on Facebook. Um, as far as like virtual trainers, I don't know anything about that. You know what? I am going to write that down and I'm going to research that. Katie, that's phenomenal. Okay, that's what we're doing. I need some place to write it down. Okay, virtual coaches. Yeah. Okay. I can't write and talk at the same time. Okay. I don't know if that helped, Katie. You know, again, the coach that I hired, I got her name from the Train Like a Mother Club, or excuse me, the Train Like a Mother books. I mean, I constantly talk about these guys because they are phenomenal. The Train Like a Mother is their second book, and they have training plans in there. So 5K, 10K, half, full, and they have 2 plans for each. And they were all written by Christine Hinton. And Christine Hinton, I mean, I had some huge success just by following these training plans. And as I was looking for a coach and deciding what I wanted to do for this coming year, I decided that hiring a coach was the best way for me to go to get me from one race to another as I'm going through this year, getting the proof of times that I wanted to get. And so I decided I'm going to call her. I'm going to call her and I'm going to see if she's available and if she has room to take me on as a client. And I reached out to her and she said, well, actually I'm full right now, but I do see some things happening as the fall race season comes up. So let's talk again in the wintertime. And so she actually put me at the top of her list because I explained to her, I said, I have used your plans and they have worked so well. I loved listening to her on the Another Mother Runner podcast. She's no longer on that podcast, but I mean, just amazing. I got such great results. So that's my personal recommendation is, if you want to start there, those training plans are amazing. You can also try the Train Like a Mother Club. And that's, in fact, they have somewhere in my channel. That's one of my recommended channels. You go to the Train Like a Mother Club. They have go to the website trainlikeamother.club. And they have paid programs where you get coaching support. And so that's kind of that intermediate between going from not having a coach at all. Do you have to be a mother? No, you do not. In fact, there's some dads out there. It's the Another Mother Runner tribe is all inclusive. We're a little nuts over there, and it's really fun. No, you do not have to be a mom. There's so much great information that they share. They really have inspired this channel. They have inspired me as a runner. It all started with their books. But I think, like the Train Like a Mother Club is that intermediate space between not having a coach at all, not having, just following a training plan and kind of making it up as you go. And I really do think that there's some challenge to that. Well, okay, what does this mean? What does easy run mean? All of these things. When you're just starting out, there's so much jargon. And when you start looking at training plans, you have to kind of figure it out. But the Train Like a Mother Club walks you through all of that. There's online coaching support. There's social media support. So you'll get your own private Strava group. You'll get your own private Facebook group where you can ask any question. You can talk about how you've had a bad day. The support is phenomenal. And they have all kinds of training plans, everything. Right now, they've got triathlon training plans. They've got 5K all the way up through marathon. And I think now they've got even some ultra distance coaching plans too. So that the Train Like a Mother Club is then the next, before you decide to get your own coach. I would say start there or something like that. So anothermotherrunner.com, trainlikeamother.club. I hope that, I think I'm actually just gonna put that right in here. I'm gonna say something. Mother.club. Okay. What else? Am I doing the total eclipse virtual race? We might. We may do, oh, I gotta go back to Steph. Hi, Steph. I'm glad you're here. I did see you come in, and so I get all wrapped up in talking. So I don't know if you guys noticed that. I like the idea of theming our costumes for the parks, for races, for parks. So theme for 5K would be Hollywood Studio. Oh, I love that idea. Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and the full floor Magic Kingdom. Oh, that would be fun. I'd love to hear, Steph, what you end up doing with that. And that's exciting. That's really cool. That's a really good idea. I hadn't even thought about that. Well, see, now you've got my wheels turning. Dang it. Okay. Am I doing the total eclipse virtual race on 8/21? I might. The reason I say that I might is that my son is going up to Wyoming for the total eclipse with his dad and their family. So they're kind of making a little road trip for the total eclipse, which I think is really, really cool. And I think that's the kind of thing, if he wanted to do it, I would definitely do it. The virtual races, you know, I'm getting a little out of hand with those. I just did the Star Wars virtual 5K in May, and then I've got the Run Disney virtual 5Ks happening. So yeah, if we did it, it would be you know, one of those things that we do together. But yeah, Keeler, are you gonna be? Am I even looking at your name right? I don't know if I'm even saying your name right, so I apologize if I'm messing that up. So are you doing it? Are you doing it? Do you like doing these virtual races? Love to hear about what you think of virtual races. Let's see. Nope, no indicator. Where are we? If you are only allowed to choose one fitness app on your phone, which would you choose? Oh boy. Oh. Gosh. One app. Hang on. I have to look. Okay, what have I got? Let's see. What have I got? What do I have on here? What do I have on here? Garmin Connect, probably. Gosh, one app. You're making me choose one? Okay, fine. No, I think it would have to be Garmin Connect, because that's how, well, no. Gosh, that's a hard question. Pass. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Laura. Gosh, I would say either Garmin Connect or Training Peaks, mostly because, and I will be talking about this in a future video, I've been using Training Peaks for so dang long. Okay, 3. Okay, good. She gave me a pass. I got 2 of them. All right, I would use Training Peaks a lot. I have always used it. I have a love-hate relationship. So actually, no, I really love the Training Peaks app. I've been using it for about 5 years now, and it's got all of my data in it, and you know, everything from, you know, big triathlons, big races, how I trained for everything. And so, and it's interesting because as I create some of these videos, I look back and I see like, okay, well, I trained for this, and how did I train for it? What did I do? I can see when I was sick. I can see when it, you know, when I was really working hard, how I overtrained. I can look back in certain times and say, well, I must have overtrained there because I worked, and then I took 3 weeks off. So it's kind of interesting to see. It's just key lime. Oh, well, there you go. Thank you. So it's kind of, Training Peaks is really just because I have a history with it. Garmin Connect I would use because that's how I upload my information on a daily basis. It used to be, when I was training for triathlons, I had not just my big 310, but I also had my bike computer. And I would you had to plug them into your computer, and it took a little bit longer, and I didn't care for it. It was just such a pain in the neck. I didn't want to do it, especially when I'm doing 2-a-days. I'm running in the morning and cycling in the afternoon, or I'm swimming, whatever. I'm working out twice a day. After a while, if you have to upload your data all the time, it's such a pain. And so with this, it's got the Bluetooth capability to the phone, and then the phone automatically through Garmin Connect, it will take it from Garmin Connect into Training Peaks and also into Strava. And I think if I were to choose the third one, it would be Strava. I just like the social media aspect of it. Again, I don't actively use it. My workouts go in there. If you want to follow me on Strava, I don't even know what I don't even know what my Strava handle is. So you could probably search for me on Strava, but I'm not always in there. But if you are on Strava or on Garmin Connect, shoot me your handles, and I'd love to follow you guys on those. So love virtual races. So that's my answer, Laura. I don't know if that's acceptable. I'm kidding. So what I say, Training Peaks, Garmin Connect, and Strava. Those are the 3 that I would use. Love virtual races, and yes to the Eclipse race. Currently doing Disney virtual races. Key lime. Thank you. So I have had some really interesting conversations online about and in response to my virtual. Hey, Laura, if you're headed out, love you. Talk soon. My virtual 5K unboxing. That one kind of got, I don't know. As I look back, I see, I don't know. I didn't want, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like, well, these medals are too big. And I don't know. I don't think they're too big. I just think that there's a perspective. I love that virtual races motivate people, motivate you guys to go out, get it done. I love it. I come at it from a very different perspective. The medals have never really been a motivator for me, because I started running when this running boom was really starting to ramp up, and I saw a lot of races start to add that as an incentive to sign up. Oh, great, you get a medal. Rock and roll was really good for that. And then, of course, you have Run Disney, who is phenomenal at getting you to sign up for races. Oh, thank you, Steph. It was really fun to open those medals and say, this is what they look like. They're beautiful, beautiful medals. For me, my motivation is so internal. I grew up kind of a fat kid, not a fat kid, but I was certainly not fit. And as a swimmer, I still wasn't fit. I was much more of a musician, and I spent my time on my music and did not keep myself very fit. So as I started this fitness journey, and this may be a longer story than you guys have patience for, but as I started this fitness journey, it was when the Danskin Women's Marathon Series came out, and Sally Edwards and heart rate training and all of this stuff back in the early 21st century. So the Danskin Women's Triathlon in 2004 was my first race. And I did that. I kind of backed into it because I started off as a swimmer. The swim was the easy part for me. I pulled out my mountain bike and I did 14 miles on a mountain bike. And then I ran. But I was actually, that first race, I got passed by speed walkers. Man, that's demoralizing. I don't know. Has that ever happened to you guys? Oh my gosh. So that was my first experience, and there weren't medals for that, but I finished, and it was exciting to me. And as I grew and as I gained experience, I did more triathlons, and and then I started adding runs in, but I really focused a lot on triathlon as I got stronger. And then I had my son, and then I came back to it, and I started really pushing for time, and I really wanted to see how far I could push myself. And it wasn't motivated by a medal. It was motivated by that inner fat kid, right? That inner nerd that, just was never a jock. And I say these words with, I don't know, it's just kind of how we all grow up, right? So it's just, the medals were an added incentive. What really got me was the finisher's gear. So things like that jacket that I got for that race, that race, okay? That's still my most prized possession. Like, I will be buried in my Ironman finisher's jacket. I worked so dang hard for that. Dopey for me, again, is always fun. I think it's just kind of a nice way to take the pressure off myself, but I'm not motivated by that bling. I mean, it was kind of like, oh, that's kind of exciting. Yeah, you can, show what you've done, but at the same time, it's not, it doesn't make me sign up for a race or not. Boulder, for example, is not a medaled event. I mean, that's 50,000 runners. The running boom, has created a lot of motivation by, saying people, come out and, you get this medal, and it's a participant's medal. More often than not, it's a participant's medal. That's what the Run Disney races are for. But that guy is a finisher's medal. So I put a lot more stock for me in my personal journey. And that's not to say that anybody who looks at it differently is incorrect. That is not what I'm saying at all. For me and my journey, that guy was so hard fought that I think that just adds a different perspective for me. When I started Run Disney races, which just kind of, they throw medals at you. And I think that's fantastic. It is so responsible for so many of you guys running, right? I think Run Disney has gotten a lot of people into the sport, and that's great. That's not how I started. I started as I needed a break. I really needed a break from all of the seriousness of my training. And so I use those Run Disney events and those medals to say, cool, this is the fun I'm having. So the unboxing, when the medals came out and I looked at them, I'm like, these are huge. I was thinking about, relatively speaking, like, okay, if this is what I get for a virtual 5K, right? Then, in terms of how much work I put into it, not how much it costs, but how much work I put into it, I get something that size, then something like an Ironman should be the size of a manhole cover, right? I want to medal that big for Ironman. Anyway, I'm just kind of off on a tangent here. So let's see what you guys are saying. Plano hot air balloon. Ooh, Plano. Plano. Is that, where are you? Angie, where are you? Tell me again, because I've got such a short attention span. That's fun. Hot air balloon festival. That's so exciting. Yeah, that'll be fun. Tell me how that goes. I'd love to hear from that. And it's September. Love the races there. Katie, I'll be out running and training and my fiance will pass me. Just what? That's rude. That is rude, Katie. You tell him from me that is rude, that he's probably a wonderful human being, but he shouldn't do that to you. I like the Disney virtuals because I'm not locked into a regular race when it may be too hot in the summer. And I think that too, it keeps people running in the summer, especially in certain parts of the country. Here, it's hard. It is hard to stay motivated when your kids are out of school, whether or not you're a parent. It gets hot. The days are longer, but there's more going on, right? You've got barbecues and people are outside. And I think, and this is what I do like about why Run Disney why I think Run Disney has done this virtual 5K short series. You have a huge drought between the the Tinkerbell half in May, and then the Disneyland half in September. And those are both located at Disneyland. If you're talking Florida, you're talking the last race in Florida is in April with Star Wars Dark Side, and you don't have another race until what, November? Am I thinking about that right? So it is a huge drought. And if you love Run Disney and you love the medals and you love to run, it keeps people going. It keeps people out. And I don't have a problem with Run Disney, or excuse me, with virtual 5Ks, virtual 10Ks. I think it's a really great motivator because there are so many options. I know for myself, it's hard for me to just sign up for any old race. I really have to plan my race calendar. This race calendar, I would not have been able to do 3 years ago because as a single mom, my son is too young for me to leave him and just say, oh, hey, we're going to go, I'm going to go do this race. You take care of yourself. I can't do that. I couldn't have done that. Now that I have someone to kind of run with me, he can run with me now on some of these. Or I'm getting married, and my fiance is a part of this now. So I would not have been able to do this. And I think the virtual 5Ks are like, I'm going to fit it in when I fit it in, and that's huge. I think that's tremendously. I don't know. I think that's the advantage of the virtual 5K. Okay, guys, what else can we talk about? How's your training going? Oh, so here's what's coming up, and I'm already longer because I talk a lot and you guys are here and I don't want to let you go. If you guys gotta go, I completely understand. But okay, so July, right? I talked about the Prairie Dog Half. That is on Saturday, the 22nd, and it's a big hill. So I am headed off to Wisconsin here in a couple of days, if you want to talk about humid, but it is lower in elevation, so that's a plus. The thing about where I go in Wisconsin is that there are a lot of hills. So I will be training on these hills to get me ready, for this race, this Prairie Dog Half. So it's kind of like these hills, because it's a lake basin. This is where my family is. And everything around it, you have to, go uphill to get out of the lake basin. That's how gravity works. Water falls into a hole. But there are some hills. There are a couple of hills. One of them is not very long in distance. It might be, I don't even think it's a quarter of a mile, but it's almost straight uphill. It's this asphalt tsunami coming at you. And it's like you're looking up at it like, I'm going to run up that. It's great for hill training. I will tell you that. But yikes. Yeah, so that's coming up this coming week. I'm going to be doing a lot of hills. When this is how Christine sends my training plan. One of the things she says on Wednesday, I've got 4 to 5 miles of hills fartlek. Yes, you may laugh. Let's take advantage of the hills. Run 6 to 8 hills harder. So it's speed play on hills. Who just threw up in their mouth a little bit? Okay. I've been looking at this now for a week and I'm like, otherwise, training wise, I'm kind of tapering for this half marathon. I'm tapering for this half marathon. I have the next week or so with relatively high mileage, maybe 25 miles or so. But then, when I'm back from my trip in Wisconsin, I'm on the downhill. I'm on this taper and getting ready for the Prairie Dog Half Marathon. After that, I'm recovering. So I'm spending the rest of July after that recovering from that. I have another race planned for early September. It's a 10 miler. And so I haven't even thought about superheroes or dopey yet. Like all of this is on the road too. right? These are all of my waypoints. So that's how this works. I do want to say, I did this Instagram giveaway. Do you guys remember this? I will say, and I don't think she's here, but this right here, I want to say on the Instagram giveaway, it was Pam Bikes for Donuts. I love her Twitter, her Instagram handle, because I mean, who doesn't bike for donuts, right? Okay, so congratulations, Pam. And I do have to say a thing about Pam. I have met Pam. She is she's one of the Mother Runner tribe. And she's also battling cancer. So when her name came up out of this drawing, I was just thrilled because I got to meet her at another Mother Runner retreat. I've been following her on Facebook and her challenges, and she's not quitting. She is a strong, strong lady. So Pam, if you watch this, congratulations. And we are definitely just all in your camp. So thank you. And thanks to all of you guys. I know a lot of you guys entered, and I love it. I'm so glad you guys you're following me on Instagram and just getting involved here. I have to say, I'm really excited with all of you guys being here today. What else is happening? Because I do want to start wrapping up. If you guys have more questions, throw them out there. I will answer. I promise you. So I know a lot of you are training for Dopey with Jeff Galloway. If you're not training with Jeff Galloway, let me know. Like if you're doing the Higdon plan or something else, let me know, because I'd love to hear what that is like. What else can I tell you about? Tuesday, I know it's well, we talked about this a little bit, didn't we? Tuesday, there will be a video. I know that's the 4th of July, but I do want to put a video up. That will be this newbie runner guide, okay? So look for that. And then on Friday, because I have a subscription box problem, guys. I mean, it's getting serious now, okay? I just signed up for the Runner's World subscription box, okay? So I just had the FabFitFun unboxing. The medals aren't really a subscription box, but I've done, like, this will be my 3rd unboxing then. So the Runner's World subscription box is going to be Friday's unboxing, and I will post that for you guys then. That was kind of a fun box. If you guys are interested in checking that out, then check out that video and go over to Runner's World. I've seen a lot of subscription boxes for runners, and none of them really just said, hey, you know, this is what you need. But I'm really starting to gain a lot of respect for Runner's World. They do a lot of great, they cover everything about running, and they keep it light. They do serious. They talk about track runners. They talk about Olympics. They talk about long distance runners. They talk about everything. So Steph, you're going to be using Higdon for proof of time races and Galloway for Disney only. Excellent. Okay. So so for proof of time, when is your proof of time, Steph? Because that's what is proof of time for Dopey is due, what did I say, October 3rd. So yeah, let me know how that goes. No, you guys, I mean, what was I talking about? It's getting hot up here. So here's the thing, where I shoot, this is like a loft. These are bedrooms and bathrooms and stuff, but this is like my office, my shooting space. But I have a wall of south-facing windows, and now the sun is over here, and it's starting to get a little warm up here. Okay. But yeah, so Friday I've got the subscription box coming out, and the newbie runner guide. After that, I don't know what's happening. I may be live next weekend as well from Wisconsin, because I will still be there. And I will let you guys know. I'll probably get some video of me running up some of these crazy hills, and then I can share that with you next week. I don't know. I have no idea what next weekend is going to bring. I'm going on vacation, sort of. It's going to be fun because my son loves hanging out with all of his cousins. We have a good time over there. What else? What else can I tell you guys about? I think that's it. I think that is it. Next weekend, again, I will be shooting from Wisconsin. But other than that, that's it, you guys. I'm going to sign off. And I'm so glad you guys are here. Definitely, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Follow me over on Instagram. All of those great. Oh, POT is September 24th. Perfect. That's like really good timing, right? Because then you can jump out of Higdon, recover a little bit, and then start training for Galloway. I think that's a really great way to do that stuff. Otherwise, guys, absolutely, Katie, thank you guys for being here. I love this. I love this. I have to say, my first live video is like, my mom showed up. And Mom, if you're here, you know, I'm glad you're here. But it was like my mom and my fiance, and it was really kind of weird. But I am so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll say it before, I'll say it again. Go find your awesome. If you guys have questions for me, topics, anything like that, throw them in the comments later, or follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of those places that you can see kind of on those places, all of those subscribing things. You know, social media. I get lost on social media. I have no idea. You guys are amazing. And I'm so excited to follow you guys as well. So please keep checking in. And I love it. I love it. Go find your awesome, guys. We will see you next time. Happy running. Love you. Mwah. How do I turn this off? Wait. Okay, no, really. I can't turn it off yet. Uh-oh. There we go. All right. We'll see you guys later. Mwah. Mwah.